So as I mentioned over the email, the purpose of the project is to interview anybody who could be considered an expert in any particular field that you would be interested in researching. So with that said, we had an incident occur last Monday at my off-campus house. Me and I have six roommates with me, but it was only me and another kid home, and we had somebody knock on the door, proceed to open the door, walk into our house, a couple steps. So I come out of the kitchen after not hearing somebody, say hello or anything like that.
Right.
To an interesting surprise.
Yeah. Sure.
So
Yeah.
things went on from there, and we had asked them to leave and all this stuff, and then we called and all that. So then this project came about, and I figured, why not? Why not? So.
Sure.
So yeah, I guess I'll just start off with just a few simple questions for you. First one being, how many years have you worked with the Department of Public Safety here in Syracuse?
This December it'll be 20 years.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So you've been here.
Been here for a minute. Born and raised here too, so.
Nice. Same position?
Now, I started off as parking patrol, just checking parking lots, closed garages. Worked my way up to patrol, community service officer. I've worked all three shifts, so I've worked midnights. Currently the last 9-10 years I've been in investigations.
Okay.
So I'm a detective, but my forte is crime prevention, so I do a lot of the programs, information boards, bike registration,
Gotcha.
tabling.
Nice.
I'm the information guy.
Nice. So just out of curiosity, I guess, where'd you grow up around here?
Right here in Syracuse on the east side. I live 5 minutes away still. Went to high school at Nottingham, which is about
Nice. Yeah,
10
okay, I
minutes
know where
away.
that is.
So,
Yeah, my dad was a Bishop Grimes guy.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So his whole side still lives here.
Okay.
They're all up in
Cool.
North Syracuse.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, I guess second question would be what would you say, I guess, is the most enjoyable part of your job? I won't ask you the worst because I'm sure there's plenty of answers for that, but
I like the contact with the students.
Yeah.
Honestly, and the reason I got involved in crime prevention when I first got up here, I really had the impression that college prepares kids for real life, but a lot of what I was seeing didn't seem that way. So I wanted to gain an audience with the students to try to convince them about safety, keep themselves safe on and off campus, and convincing them, to follow some of the tips that we put out, quite honestly. So
nice. Is it just you in that effort, or how many?
The aspect of crime prevention, everybody in our department practices it, but as far as like presenting programs, I'm one of the few.
Okay.
There's a couple of us that do it, but
Okay.
mainly it's me right now.
Nice. I guess just for my own distinction, what's the difference, I guess, between a detective versus an officer? Or
Detectives, we get the cases after the initial report.
Okay.
So in a lot of cases, we will do the follow-up work. Not all, because sometimes the officers will do that on their own, or they'll be directed to do it. So officers are the ones that are out there on patrol every shift. So they're the ones answering the calls directly.
Okay.
For us, we get notification usually after the fact. Sometimes we might help out. We fill in for supervisors at times, but mostly it's the follow-up work.
Gotcha. Okay. So how would you describe the prevalence of crime happening on and off campus today compared to when you began 20 years ago?
I think it's increased slowly, but the big issue too is it that it's gotten worse, or are we reporting better? For example, on campus with alcohol-related issues, they keep going up every year.
Yep.
But I don't know that the problem is worse, or because of the Be Wise campaign, among other things, which tries to convince the kids that if someone needs help exhibiting signs of alcohol poisoning, call and get them help. And so, as you probably know, if an ambulance gets called, we automatically get called. Right. Which results, in the students getting written up. So the numbers have gone up, but I think mostly because people are really starting to report. Off campus, being a resident of Syracuse lifetime, I think it has gotten a little worse with the violence and things of that nature, you know. But I think that's consistent, you know, around the nation, to be honest. So.
I guess as a side question, do you think that partially has to do with just the, I don't want to say, not decline in lifestyle in areas surrounding the university, but I guess just more crime-ridden areas and I guess lower poverty areas over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely plays a part into it. I think it's one of many factors.
Yeah, there's definitely.
Yeah.
So, to go off of that, do you believe this would be an issue students should be concerned about, or rather just need to be aware of and take measures to, I guess, prevent?
One of the biggest, you know, tenets of crime prevention really is, you know, awareness. So, should they be worried about it? What's the difference between worry and concern and being alert? We want everyone to be alert, you know, because a lot of the crimes in and around campus are crimes of opportunity, like with the burglaries, you know, as you outlined. They're not really kicking the doors in or anything like that. They're opening unlocked doors. So, you know, that's just one small, you know, and they talk to one another. If someone breaks in, walks in a house and takes an Xbox and gets some cash, and it was easy, they're gonna talk to their friends, you know.
Oh, man, it's ironic you say that. we got broken into.
Oh, really?
Like the 4th week of school.
Yeah.
Got the Xbox stolen, as you mentioned. Quick, easy cash, and they reported it back then, and they actually traced the people had actually taken the Xbox as well as the cell phone.
Okay.
As well as the cell phone, so they tracked the cell phone back to some place out in North Syracuse.
Wow.
But they went to the door. They, meaning my roommates, had gone to the door, and
Really?
it was 3 guys that just said they had no idea what they were talking about. So that was that. But then and then the trespassing happened last week, which I don't know exactly which officer it is. It's one of the female officers. She's kind of shorter. Very nice lady, but she was the one who was talking to us when we reported it, and she said the same thing you just said about opportunity crime.
And I mean, if you go to, you know, I've checked websites for different campuses, even municipal, like if you went to the SyracusePolice.org, the tips aren't going to be any different.
Right.
It's going to be the same. You know, lock your stuff up every time you leave.
Yeah.
Report suspicious behavior. You know, if you see people hanging in the area. It seems like the crimes that, like the burgs, seem to be like teenagers around that age. You know, because we have made a couple arrests, linked a couple, you know, stolen things back to certain people. And South Campus is the same thing. Yeah. You know, and we, as officers on patrol, they've been literally going from door to door checking apartments and locking them up for kids. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Convince people to lock
That's
their
interesting.
doors.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've trust
Since
me.
then, I'm sure, right?
We have learned our lesson. That is for sure. So I guess with that, I guess one of my bigger questions over the last 4 years. I'm a senior now. One of my bigger questions had been just about, I guess, video security systems, and so I had looked into the annual, the annual security report that I guess came out October 1st, so a couple days ago for this past year. And I noticed that it said, and I'm just quoting this, it said, for your enhanced safety, Syracuse University has installed a video security system on campus that includes more than 800 cameras, which can capture more than 1,000 views, outdoor vantage points around campus and surrounding areas. So that's the first I had even known we had cameras. I mean, I knew we had them like within the dorms, but as far as surrounding areas. So I guess my question for that is just if you could maybe, I guess just describe what areas those.
I think all the academic buildings and residential halls, all the entrances are covered.
Yep. Okay.
There are a few cameras like South Campus in general areas, not necessarily on each apartment building. Some cameras, like for example, I know Shaw Hall, that corner, Ostrom and Euclid.
Yep.
There's a camera, I think, right on the right on the corner there. So basically, academic residential buildings and a few spots that are like borderline cameras.
Okay.
But it's interesting you should bring that up. We have an extern working with our department, Alex. I can't think of his last name right now.
Yeah, I
Do
actually.
you know who Alex is?
I do, just because
Okay.
I was talking to my roommate,
No.
no more than an hour ago,
Right.
that I was going to do this and talk to you, and
Right.
he actually mentioned that kid that, what'd you say his name was, Alex?
Alex, I can't think of the last name right now. I should know it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
he's actually trying to secure and has secured funding
Nice.
to put cameras in the neighborhoods. So
Nice.
he's in meetings with SPD and
Mhm.
Syracuse University. Obviously, we wouldn't control those off campus,
Right.
but hopefully we're going to have access to them.
Nice.
But the thing about cameras is too, which we don't want people to forget, they don't necessarily prevent crime.
Hmm.
They can take pictures and help us ID people after the fact. But
Right.
most criminals, they wear hoodies, got hats on.
Hmm.
They know the cameras are there. That doesn't really
Hmm.
deter them a whole lot. But
Right.
after the fact, so there is no replacement for still locking your doors,
Yep.
being alert, calling in suspicious stuff. So I mean, they're definitely a great tool, but it won't stop people from trying if there's opportunity. That's the
Right,
thing.
right, true.
Yeah.
That kind of led into my next question, just about. No, you're fine. Just about, I guess would cameras off campus, Euclid's, all those north-south streets, the Stratford, all those
Right.
going down all the way to Westcott. Do you think that would at least help take people off the streets then? Because maybe you would be able to prove it after the fact, or...
It can if we can ID the
Uh-huh.
people, but it's not going to stop those criminals from trying.
Right, and it's not going to get your stuff back either, but...
In most cases, it won't.
Right.
Yeah. If you make a habit of keeping all your information, though, that's
Yeah.
when it's really helpful. Because if we have a serial number, we can actually put a teletype out to all the local agencies,
Mm-hmm.
so that if it does turn up, they'll get a hit. And they'll know that, this was involved in a burglary up at SU, and they'll contact us. So
Okay.
recording your, serial numbers to your property and, marking it somehow
Gotcha.
is very helpful.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, that's interesting that Alec is doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my roommate was saying it was for a capstone project like 2 or
I
3
believe
years
so.
ago, and
Yeah.
it kind of led into something long term. That's cool. Let's see. I guess so. I guess in summary here, I'll kind of just pair these two questions together. So I guess, would you like to see the university do more in terms of securing or protecting the crimes occurring in off-campus housing, or would you have any suggestions besides the cameras?
It's a dual-edged sword. Students
Right.
live off campus because they don't want, they want a little more freedom, and they get it in that there's no RAs, but at the same time, you're more responsible for your own
Definitely.
security.
Yeah.
When you live in a residence hall, you got RAs,
Yeah.
you got people checking IDs when people come in. So,
Mm-hmm.
there is a trade-off. There's more freedom, but more responsibility too. It's tough for us because the more we stretch off campus, that thins us out quite a bit. When really
Right.
our authority is specifically
It's supposed to be
on
Yeah.
campus. I mean, we do patrol. We have joint patrols with SPD off campus. So
Mhm.
if we're driving off campus and we see something, we're not just going to let it happen.
Right.
But our primary area of responsibility really is on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we still do care about the students off campus. I'll give you an example. Even if the police are called,
Yep.
our emergency communication centers, they're listening in to all that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to know when the Syracuse police are sent to Ackerman.
Yep.
They know that more than likely it's going to be a student that lives there. So they contact the sergeant, supervisor, and normally the sergeant will send one of our cars over to see how he can assist. off whatever we can offer the student, even if
Gotcha.
SPD takes the lead on the case. So we do care about the students that live off campus, but
Right.
our role is a lot different.
Yeah.
It's subordinate to, the Syracuse police. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tough, because I feel like the opposite perspective is coming from the Syracuse Police Department, in which they have a lot to deal with around
Right.
the entirety of Syracuse, and they're kind of
Right.
saying, oh, do they ever try and, I guess, just
Well, we actually
not formally say, but kind of hint to you guys that they need more help with, I guess, directly off-campus stuff, so they can spend more
Right.
time out in the city or whatnot.
Not that they necessarily have done that, but if we were willing to stretch out off campus and alleviate some of their issues,
Yeah.
they're not against that. But we do
I hear
have
you.
what's called a memorandum of understanding, so we have rules as to how far we go with like VNTs, what type of crimes we will take, and the Syracuse police have turned over certain crimes to us, to investigate. So, we have a good relationship with them, but yeah, like you were saying, if they got a murder somewhere, a burglary
Yeah.
is probably not going to rate up there,
Right.
so you might not get the same service you would from us because
Right.
we work for Syracuse University.
No, that
You know
makes
what I mean?
sense.
So
Definitely.
it's a little bit of a trade-off.
Definitely. Well, that kind of secures everything I was hoping to ask you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, absolutely.